Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? So, I am revealing last Friday's challenge. So, I actually posted it last Wednesday, so you guys had a full week to do the challenge. And let's get started. I want to just let you guys know that I am watching my grandchildren this week, and so I have limited time here. So, hoping we can get this in without any problems. So, here is, I don't know why I have a dark spot on my screen all of a sudden. Let's do it this way. I'm just going to lower my light a little bit. That's as low as it can get. I hope you guys can see okay. So here are the measurements. We had color number 1 was 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, and then the same color, 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Two pieces of Whisper White at 4 and 5 by 5 1/4, and then one piece at 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. Color number 2, a 1/2 inch by 4 1/4. We have DSP, one at 2 by 4, and then another one, a second color at 1 by 4, and then ribbon and embellishments. So I have chosen my base piece to be Real Red. So once again, we cut it 4 1/4 by 11. I'm going to go ahead and burnish our score line. Then we have a Whisper White, and I am going to put one right onto the front of our card base. You could have chosen to emboss this. The choice was yours. Don't forget, you can always emboss your papers or cut an image that's about that size with a die. So that's going to be our base. Then I'm going to grab my 2 1/2 by 3 1/2 and my 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. I'm working with the Merry Moose stamp set today. I haven't used this one in a while, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and use this one. And we're going to grab the moose and his scarf. So we're going to stamp our moose on here, and I'm going to use Early Espresso. Now, I could have chosen to stamp this on crumb cake and then punch it out, but I wanted to do it directly onto my paper. So I'll be doing some coloring today. We're just going to put this right on here. And then I am going to take the little scarf, and I think I am going to stamp that in Real Red also. So we're going to put this down and just line that up, and because it's a photopolymer, it's pretty easy to line up. Okay, we're just going to have that right there. I close up my ink pads real quick, and then we're going to get to coloring this guy. So I'm going to use my dark crumb cake to do the darker areas, and I want to do his hoofs are pretty solid, but I'm just going to do a dab in each one, and then kind of where the artist has already told us it was going to be darker, just some along these lines in here. Okay, now we're going to take our light crumb cake and we're going to color him in, making sure that we blend out that dark so it seems to go blending in. Okay, and his leg. You can choose not to shade him. Now there's a couple spots in between the legs. I'm going to show you how we're going to get those legs colored in, because you can kind of see him through his scarf. And don't forget that down there and around his eyes. Now I'm going to go ahead and color some of these areas over again. It's making it a little bit darker. Okay, oops, let me get this down here a little bit. Okay, now his antlers, I want a dark color. But I am going to use the light soft suede because I feel that's dark enough for his antlers. So we're just going to go ahead and color those in. Not worry too much about the shading. I forgot his ear, so I'm going to have to go back and do his ear with the crumb cake. So I am going to let you guys know, I don't know what happened to my post. I went and looked for it today to double check the measurements, and I couldn't find it. So it was here last week because I had a few people ask me about it, but it seems to have disappeared. Okay, now I want him walking on snow. I don't want him just walking in the air. So I am going to take my light pool party and just do a little bit of swishes along where he's walking. Just kind of a shadow. Just underneath him, just to ground him. Maybe put a little bit of snow in the background. Okay, so we need to color this in. I am going to take my Stampin' Write marker, and I'm going to make that a little bit darker. And that's going to help that leg disappear a little bit. You're still going to see it through just a little bit. If you don't want to see it, you're going to want to do some masking. But I'm okay with that because you really don't notice it. Okay, now onto our 1/2 inch by 4 1/4. We're going to stamp a sentiment. And I am going to stamp Merry Christmas. And I'm going to do it in Memento ink. And I'm going to stamp it before I trim it. So I want to put it on here just because I want to get it on there. Okay, let's make sure it's straight. I don't like the way it came out. I pressed too hard on one side, so which means I didn't give it even pressure. I think this one's going to come out much, much better. Okay, so I'm going to take my paper snips. Oops, I have them on the other side. Hunter and I were crafting this morning. We're just going to snip it off to whatever length you want. We're going to go ahead and put this piece onto these. Now for this week, for all of you that participate in the challenge for this week, we're going to have a drawing for a gift. And I'm not going to tell you what the gift is, but in order to be put into the drawing, you do need to participate with the challenge. I will make sure that it is up there and it stays up there. So I'm taking my 2x4 Designer Series paper. I'm going to put it right on the base here. Whoops. I put it down too soon. Let's get that down on the bottom, lining it up, covering up that Whisper White. Making sure we're there. Okay, now before we put our next one, and all I did is cut the reverse. So I actually cut mine 3x4 and then just cut a 1-inch strip off. I am going to grab the red ribbon that came in all the trimmings pack, and I am going to use my little tying trick, I think. Yes. Here's my punch. I'm going to go ahead and punch that right there. 3 times the width. 1, 2, 3. Trim that off. Put both ends together. And pull it up through there. About an inch, inch and a half. Then wrap it around and tug on it a little bit. Don't tug on it hard. If you're using a thin ribbon like this, you shouldn't have any problems because the 1/8 inch hole punch is more than big enough to accommodate. Make sure that it's not twisted. Untwist it. Happens to be this piece, so I'm just going to twist that way, and it'll untwist. Now, before I tie it, I'm just going to make sure it's taut. I'm going to go ahead and secure this. Now, instead of adhering the Whisper White to my card base, I could have just put all my Designer Series paper on, and then I could have punched through the Whisper White also. The choice is yours. I don't have a problem doing it this way. So we're just going to butt that up to there, making sure we cover end to end. I'm going to pull on this. Don't pull sideways, pull straight up. Okay, we've got that, and we're just going to tie one knot. Okay, and that's going to hold that secure. Now, my ribbon is a little loose, so I'm going to do a little trick here. We're going to be putting that layer, that matte layer over there, so I don't know how this got loose, but it did. So I'm just tightening it like that. That's not going to be seen. Okay, let's move that way. Just give it a little tug. We're going to take, oh my gosh, I went and put that on crooked. Can't have that. So taking my spatula, I can lift that up and reposition it. There we go. I'm much happier with that. Okay, let's grab some of our dimensionals. You guys notice I found my Take Your Pick tool. It was missing yesterday. I was helping Hunter fix some toys that are his dad's and his uncle's, and I was actually using my Take Your Pick tool to scrape off some rust that was on a wheel, and it was keeping the wheel from turning. And it was so funny because Hunter goes, "Grandma, you know how to do that. Grandpa doesn't." And I think he said that because I was using my stamping tools. They know. Okay, so we're just going to put this right here. We're going to go ahead and trim our tails of our ribbon, just like that. And now for our rhinestones. Just going to put 3 rhinestones on here. Just to jazz it up a little bit. And just like that. Then for the inside of our card, we're going to go ahead and put our other piece of Whisper White. I'm so happy you guys are enjoying these challenges in this group. You guys are such a sharing community, and I do appreciate when you guys post and share things that you're making. That's what this is all about. So on the inside, I'm going to go ahead and stamp this little raccoon. I think he's pretty cute. We're just going to color him up real quick. He's on a little sled. You could choose to color it first, but I'm going to go ahead and do it while we're right here. I'm going to use the dark crumb cake for him. He's very small, so we can just color him kind of quickly. And then the log, I'm just going to do some shading with the dark, and then I am going to get my gray granite. Make sure I grab the right one. And this is the dark gray granite, and I'm just going to color the log with that, blending in those dark crumb cake. Logs aren't really a brown all the time, and I think I need to go a little bit darker, so let me try the soft suede on here. Give it some shading. There we go. So he's all ready now to complete it. I'm going to go ahead and give some snow here also, just by swishing my dark pool party. Now the sentiment, I will go ahead and do later when I go to send it. I always personalize my Christmas cards. So I hope you guys enjoyed this challenge. I will be posting the next challenge in just a little bit. And I look forward to you guys all participating. And don't forget, you could win a gift. Until next time, you guys, happy stamping!